Hey guys, Adam with Splendid Sports, back for a special, I guess, vacation edition of 3 and 3. I'm here in New England, so I figured who better than to have on 3 and 3 than Picker Jim. Jim, how's it going?
Good, doing great, Adam. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and on short notice, we've been going back and forth on doing this for a little bit, and I figured I just give it a shot in the dark this morning and say, hey, you want to do a 3 and 3, and here we are. So
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
forward to this.
sounds good. Yes,
Um,
sir.
and you are a recent inductee of the YouTube Sports Card Hall of Fame. So just want to say congrats on that again.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. That was quite the honor. It was a really great honor to be nominated by all our fellow YouTube members.
Yeah, and before we get into, well, I should mention if people are catching this for the first time, this is episode number 30. But if this happens to be the first one, we're going to look at Jim's three of his favorite cards in his collection and three that he wants to add to the collection in the future. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the hobby that we both love. And one of the things that we have in common, I think you've been doing it a lot longer, but you're big on the PSA set registry, right?
Yes, yes. Really love doing the set registries. A lot of fun and a bit addictive as well.
Yeah, and people like to poke fun of me, here and there when I mention the registry and so forth, and it's all in good fun. But for me, it's anything that adds more enjoyment to the hobby for me. I'm going to keep doing, and the registry, is something that adds more enjoyment. Yes, it probably does cause me to spend a little more money than I would have, but it still makes it more enjoyable. And until it isn't, I'm just going to keep using it. I don't do everything on the PSA set registry, but I've kind of picked a few lanes that I want to do the registry with on certain player runs and so forth. And then other things I collect, it doesn't really matter if it's PSA, but I like to do a couple different, like the Larry Bird run and the Mickey Mantle run. I kind of focus on PSA with those just to
Yeah,
keep it
sure.
the same. But I wanted to ask you, someone who's been doing it for a long time, what do you think? Give me do you think PSA could be improving it? Do you think they should be adding more to it, or just kind of building upon it? They have a huge lead, obviously, from other grading companies, and the registry, in my opinion, is one of the biggest reasons. Do you think they should be putting more resources to it than they are right now with all the money they're probably making?
I think that I think that that's a great question. They definitely there's a ton of different sets that you could get involved with, and they are open to people submitting new ideas. I know a couple of guys that have submitted ideas to them for set registries, and they've actually adopted and created set registries based off those suggestions. Um, I mean, as far as that goes, I think they do a good job with it. I think that there's really a lot of different sets. Almost anything you can think of, you can find a set registry out there for it. And even I think it's good too. I always tell people, even some people, they don't want to have to be tied down to just PSA cards alone, or they just don't like PSA for whatever reason, or whatever it may be. Even those people can take advantage of the set registries. Just in fact, for the checklists, just create your own set based off the checklist, and you don't. It doesn't have to be PSA, of course, to take part in the registry and be ranked and so forth. It has to be PSA cards, but you can still get enjoyment out of it by just using the checklists and collecting your own. Even people collect raw cards, through the checklist just to have the cards, and they have fun doing it that way too. So to answer your question, I'm not really sure exactly. I'm sure that there's things that they could do to improve the set registry, as far as usage and things like that, but I'm not really off the top of my head 100% sure what those things would be exactly.
Well, like I'm kind of nitpicky, especially because part of what I do for work has to do with websites and you making websites user friendly and so forth. And It's good. It's a good, pretty good website, for definitely for sports cards. But when you kind of look at it on a broader scale for the size of the company they are, I get a little kind of annoyed sometimes when, I hit like a broken link on the registry, or, I've submitted sets to the registry and never heard anything back. I know there's a pretty big waiting list on registry. So I'm kind of looking at that from that angle. And that's probably more of just a resources thing, putting more people, more employees that have to do with the registry. So I know they have a huge lead, but I think they obviously have the huge advantage, and it would probably do them some good to maybe invest even more into that, to grow it, market it more, get more people involved in it, because it's kind of like a polarizing thing now, right? It's like you love the registry, or you're a fan of it, or you think it's dumb,
Right.
But I think they could do a little more with like social media and promoting collectors more, along with obviously improving the user experience. Like, one of the features that bugs me is, when you're in like a set, and it shows you all the cards that are in the set, and then there's like a shop button that will tell you, click here and you can go look at what's for sale on eBay and all these different places. I love
Right.
that feature, but for me, it like doesn't work most of the time. I click on the link and it's a broken link. So things like that drive me nuts, because I'm like, all the money this company makes, and this is something that, I hate to see that it's been broken for me for like a long time. So
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like
No,
that.
I get it. Yeah. No, that definitely right. And you're right to say that the set registry is one of the key things for PSA, and that's one of the reasons why they're such a popular company. And I mean, there's thousands and thousands of sets that people are taking part in, and it would be to their advantage to promote that a heck of a lot more than they do. And and I can hear what you're saying too about I've had the same thing happen to me, where I suggested them to do certain sets, and like you said, never heard anything back from them. But that's more of a customer service type
Yeah.
thing, I would think. But I mean, I know their customer service isn't great, to be honest. But yeah, for sure, they could definitely do a lot, especially being that they're the only ones that have set registry. They could really drive that home to really attract more people. But generally, as a whole, I think that most collectors who have been collecting for quite a while certainly know about the set registries. But it's surprising that um, people know about them, but they don't really know the details and all that they could do with it. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah, and even just like specials for people that want to get into the registry. There's so much they could do, and to your point, they're the only one with a registry that works. So none of the other grading card companies have pushed them, which obviously it's you have less incentive as a company when no one else is pushing you. So maybe what it's going to take is SGC to come out with one or something like that, and then they'll maybe start taking a bigger look at it and things they can
that would
improve on. But
that would be the best thing SGC could do, is come up with a set registry. That would people would jump all over that, I bet.
prediction at the national, they're going to announce the registry. I'm gonna say it right here. I have no inside info, but I think they're going to come out with that big announcement that they're finally going to do the registry. At least I hope so. I hope they do that.
That would be smart of them, and I would look forward to that. The other thing too is that's surprising is that, like I mentioned a minute ago, a lot of longer time collectors know about the set registry, but it's amazing that a lot of people I've talked to, they don't even realize that it's free. You don't pay for it. You just start doing it, and you to get the app, and you go on there and you sign up, and it doesn't cost anything. And people have asked me multiple times, well, how much do you have to pay to do that? And it's like, they know about it, but they don't really know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's
Yeah,
funny.
guys, guys watching in the comments, I'd love to hear more feedback on that. Anyone who has ideas, things that you wish the PSA registry would do, feel free to leave it in the comments, because I always like to hear that. There's not, for me, I don't know that many people actually that I've connected with on YouTube that really do the registry that much. So
Yeah.
I know there's a few like yourself that I've noticed, but I would say the large majority of the people I communicate with don't really partake in it for the most part. So I definitely wanted to ask you about that, because I know you have a big history with it.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why too is because people just don't want to be held to just strictly buying PSA cards.
Right.
A lot of people want to be able to to just buy whatever. If it's a great looking card, that's the thing about the set registry. If you're doing the set registry, you got to buy PSA card. You can't just find, you might find a great looking SGC card that's in your budget or whatever, but if you want it for the set registry, you got to pass on it, or you got to crack it out and submit it to PSA and go through all that baloney and find out, how that works out. So, I mean, maybe it would be a good thing for them to do, which they would never do, obviously. But if they had some kind of a set registry where you could just add any cards to it, that would be, a lot more people would take advantage of that, I'm quite sure.
Well, they what they would do is say, all right, SGC, CSG, or whatever, I forget the name, CGC, Beckett. What they would do is say, all right, you guys got to pay us. You got to pay us an annual big sum if you want to have your cards in our registry. Just like, the industry I work in, search engines with Google. Google actually pays Apple like billions of dollars every year not to make a search engine. They have like a deal to say like, so basically it would kind of be one of those like sweetheart deals of, all right, don't make your own registry. You could be part of ours, but you got to pay us. So, yeah, something like that.
No, I don't know how that would go over, but you're probably right.
Anyway, without further ado, Jim, let's get going. Let's see some cards. Let's see if you're ready. I'd love to see the first card of the three favorites that you brought here.
Okay, so very, very difficult to narrow down three favorites. And depending on the day, they may change, but I do have three here that I picked out for today. And the first one I'm going to go with is the 1909 E92 Crofts Candy, Eddie Collins.
Wow.
Just love this card. Of course, being a Red Sox fan, Eddie Collins, he never played for the Red Sox, but he was the general manager for quite a while. And he is responsible for the Red Sox signing Joe Cronin, Ted Williams, and Bobby Doerr. And so, of course, Eddie Collins was a great player. And I just love this card. I love the green background, nice image there. And it's a fairly rare card. There's only been 10 of these graded by PSA, and only 3 have been graded higher than this one. And so really love that card. And here's the back, Crofts Candy.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so this is definitely one of my favorites for sure.
Do you know how that was like? Because I'm getting more into this food and beverage thing. I have some, and the last 3 and 3 I did was with Dave Blue Jacket 66, and he's a big food and beverage collector guy. So
for sure.
I really do have a fascination with those cards. Do you know like how did those come?
Yeah, it was through the candy company, and I believe that you would get a certificate that you could exchange for the card. So I don't believe it actually came in a package of candy, but there would be like a certificate with the candy, and if you get so many certificates, you could exchange them to receive a baseball card, is my understanding of how they were distributed.
Okay, love that.
Yeah. Yep. So there's no chocolate stains on it.
Oh yeah, no hot dog stains or Cracker Jacks on it.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful card though, and I've said this before, but the pre-war stuff, if it's got some color, I'm all for it.
Yes.
That's kind of my preference on the pre-war stuff.
Yeah, and some of the colors are just stunning on some of these cards.
Yep. All right. So let's go number 2.
Okay, number 2. This is actually an oversized card, and this is a 1936 National Chacol, and they call this the Fine Pens. And the reason why it's called the Fine Pens is because you see the signature here is it's in a thinner script as opposed to the Gaudy wide pens of the same era, where it would be a wider script. And so this is Lefty Grove. And I just think it's just an awesome image. I love seeing the old Red Sox jersey there and the old cap. And of course, Lefty Grove also was a great pitcher. And this card too, these cards are tough because they're literally paper thin. And so they're hard to find in decent condition. And this one here is also kind of, I won't call it rare, but it's kind of scarce. There's there's only been 27 of these graded by PSA, and 7 have been graded higher than this one. So really happy to have this, and it's just a great looking card. I love it, and these are blank backed, and so as a Red Sox fan, Lefty Grove is such a great pitcher that just really glad to have that one.
That's man, I've never seen that one for sure. First time
Good.
you've seen that card. Well, all right, I got to put you on the spot. You could only collect one Boston/New England athlete for the rest of your life. You get to keep all your cards you have, but you can only buy cards of one player. Who is it going to be? You have to pick.
Well, I would probably say Ted Williams, because for the simple fact that Ted Williams obviously was one of the, if not the greatest player in Red Sox history. I don't have a whole lot of his cards. Have a few, but don't have a great deal of them. So I'd probably go with Ted Williams, just based off those facts. I have, normally Yaz is like my PC, but I have tons and tons of Yaz cards, all different. I did the set registry for Yaz. I completed that, and plus I have all the Kellogg's and the stand up, the 6 stand up, and the Giant, and I just got tons of Yaz cards already. So being that would be the only one I could buy going forward, I would go with Ted Williams.
I think I would have to say Tom Brady, because I do have a lot of his cards, but there's still so many I can get because he has so many cards, so many years he played.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would say Brady, but there's so many that I started collecting Pedro Martinez pretty heavily. So
Oh yeah.
We've had a lot of good players here.
For sure. And but that's a tough one. Fortunately, it'll never come to that.
Yes. All right, but let's go number 3.
Number 3, I'm going with the 1966 KDA Pirates, Roberto Clemente, from Roberto Clemente's personal collection. And it's not an overly expensive card, but it's just the fact that it has been personally owned by Roberto Clemente, who of course was such a great baseball player, and not only a great baseball player, but a great man, a great humanitarian. I remember when I got this card, it was just such a great feeling to actually have this card and have it in my collection, just because of the fact that it did once belong to him. And I'm not really sure of the exact number of these that were out there. There's different stories about the cards. Some people say that he had these cards and he would give them out to people. But when he passed away, Vera Clemente went to sold a number of his items through auction. I believe it was Hunt's Auctions, and there was a number of these cards that were sold at that time. They were authenticated by SGC and sold through Hunt's Auctions. I don't know the exact number of these that are available, but I believe that it's probably around the 200 mark, maybe definitely less than 500. And so just Roberto Clemente, he was just such a great person, and it was just really a great feeling to have this card. I can't explain the feeling, just knowing that he owned it. Just a little bit different than just getting a card, you know what I mean?
I can't tell you how cool I think that is, and I think you're the third channel that I've seen those on recently. So Theo Clemente Collector showed one that he recently picked up, and then you familiar with Father Son Vintage channel?
I saw his
video on that too.
Yep, and also John Mangini has a copy of it, as well as Lou Rock TV, and I don't know if you know Mark, Rudog 21.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, those guys have them too. So there's six of them that I know of that are here just through YouTubers. But I don't think anybody actually knows the exact number of them that are out there. But I'm sure it's it's probably somewhere between 200 and 300. I don't think it's much more than that.
Were there other cards other than that card that were in his personal collection that are out there, or is it just that one?
I'm not aware of any others.
Okay. Because if
Yeah.
I see one at the National, I'm buying it as long as it's not egregiously overpriced. But just
You know,
I can't. The idea how cool that is to have a card from his collection, man, I'd love to have one of those.
yeah, it's really a great feeling. Like I said, it's not, like I can get, the Lefty Grove or the Eddie Collins, and it's a great feeling to pick up an awesome card, but it's just it feels different, and it's really feels good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But surprisingly, you would think it would be a very expensive card, but when I've seen them available, they're fairly. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're fairly affordable.
Yeah, that's what when I talked with Theo and he was telling me, what the pricing was on that card, I was actually shocked that it was what it was, being how cool it is to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, those are awesome three right there. I wanted to ask you, I kind of got this idea that I've mentioned before because I collect Tom Brady. I know you're a Brady fan, right?
Oh, sure.
Of course, right? But I kind of see like the long term on Brady because I remember when I was a kid, I don't know about you, but I didn't root for Michael Jordan. I was a fan of the Celtics, Larry Bird, the Celtics, and
Right.
we weren't very good when I was watching them for the most part. Their run was kind of ending when I started really watching the Celtics. But so I always knew Michael Jordan was the best, and but I just got tired of seeing him win. So I didn't really. It's not that I didn't like him. It's just that I just didn't. Everyone liked him, right? So I was like kind of bitter. And I feel like a lot of people are like that with Brady. That he kicked their ass for years. He beat their team's ass, just like Jordan beat us. But now Jordan's been retired 20 years or whatever it is. Now you see like almost everyone in the hobby loves Jordan. Everyone wants his cards. Do you think Brady will get there someday?
I think so. Yeah, I do. I think so. I mean, he's only just been retired. I mean, he hasn't even played. We don't even. Who knows? Maybe he won't retire. You never know.
Yeah, it might come
I
back.
mean, you can't. I wouldn't count anything out until at least a couple of years go by. But
Right.
I mean, so yeah. So I mean, it's the same thing as you just said. Same, very good comparison with Jordan. He's obviously people hated him when the Patriots were winning 6 Super Bowls, and even when they weren't winning Super Bowls, they were getting to the conference finals and playoffs every year. And so I mean that's completely understandable. If you were on any other team except the Patriots, you would definitely hate the guy. And then he went to Tampa and he won another one in Tampa. So he's done a lot of winning, and anybody other than fans of those teams not going to like it. I mean, he beats your team's ass every year. I mean, you're gonna not like the guy.
Because his cards have actually come down a lot in price, which has me I got my eye on some ones that were a little out of my range until recently. So I think when I talk National, I think I'm going to have some nice Brady cards on my list that I want to see if I could target now that his prices have come down. Because I don't know what the future holds, but I personally think that down the road he's going to have a trajectory like you see with Michael Jordan with some of his cards. So we'll see. But yeah, I wanted to ask you because I don't get to talk to that many New England, Boston fans, on here on YouTube. So I had to ask you that because that's
good. The thing of it is too with that is first of all, there's a downtrend in the market right now anyway with prices. And typically, I think it happens with players, great players, when they retire for a couple of years, they're kind of out of people's minds a little bit, and their prices do come down a bit. But you'll see as he gets closer towards getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, the prices are going to start going back up, and then especially if the market picks up, his card prices are going to go crazy. I bet.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's get into now. We're going to look at 3 on your list that you'd like to add to your awesome collection. Let me pull up Card Ladder here, and I'm ready. Whenever you have your first one, I'll punch it in here.
Okay, I'm gonna. I mean, again, you talk about cards that you want. And I've got a whole long list of hundreds of cards that I want, but I decided to pick 3 cards that aren't really easily obtainable that probably will take me a while to get. So my first pick would be the 1937 OPC Jimmy Fox.
There we are. Here we are. Wow, look at this one. Let's go. We're gonna go PSA for you here. Let's see. All right. So is this it right here?
That's it.
Woo.
Yep.
Okay. First time I've ever seen this one,
Okay.
and like I'm not a huge black and white, but this card looks awesome to me. I don't know. I just love the design. Look at that thing.
Exactly. And Jimmy Fox, he's one of my favorite all-time players as well. So, definitely want to. I've only got a couple of his cards, but I definitely want to start picking up more of them. And this is kind of it's almost like a Grail card, really. But I mean, I obviously would be looking at it in a lower grade, but yeah, no, I just love the design, the image. It's so it really it screams 30s to me all the way with the uniform and just the design and everything else like that. And I just love that card.
So OPG is Canada, right? Canadian card.
Yes, Canadian.
Wow.
Yep.
Again, it's something about seeing a card for the first time that I'm just like staring at this thing. It's unbelievable. Like the design, I just love it right there.
It is. It's beautiful. It's a beauty. That's for sure.
Who else is in this set that we would like? Any big names in this set?
Um, yeah, pretty much all the top players of the time are in there.
Like, would DiMaggio have a card in
He
this set?
does. Yes, he does. Yep, that's
Oh,
one of the bigger ones in the set.
ooh. Now
Yeah.
you got my wheels turning here, Jim.
Are you a DiMaggio collector as well?
No, but I actually have no Joe DiMaggio playing days cards, but I want to get one. So it's kind of like I'm trying to figure out which one I want to make a run at, you know?
Yeah, and the thing of it is when you go for this set, it's like, a lot of people have the Leafs and the Gaudis and all those common sets, but this is a little bit more where not everybody has these cards.
No, man. I think like this was the last PSA one to sell, and this was over a year ago. So yeah, this seems like these don't come up too often.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. You got to be if you find one in your price range, and it's not an inexpensive card either. And if you find it in the price range, you got to grab it because, like you said, you might not see it for a long time.
And this would be a card where like centering doesn't seem to matter too much on this one.
Not too
Really.
much, no.
Yeah.
No.
So it's kind of like whatever comes up is probably going to be one you're gonna want to get. You know.
Yeah, it could be a little bit off center. Like even that one you're looking at there could be a little bit off center, but it's really difficult to tell. You'd have to look like at the players on each side, and you'd have to know, how far of spacing it should be between the player and the edge of the card. But just visually, you can't tell if it's off center or not.
Wow. Well, already thank you for anytime I can learn about a new card or a new set, it's awesome. So already thank you for introducing me to this one.
Yeah, good. That's the good thing about what you do with the series is you always probably learning about a lot of different types of new cards from different collectors.
I've learned so much and I've loved doing the show. I continue to keep doing it. I plan to keep doing it, but it has cost me some money, so that's okay.
Well, I'm sure it's cost some of the viewers money too. So
yeah. Well, sorry guys, but hey, it's all part of it. So
that's right. All right. It's all part of the fun.
Let's go to number 2.
Yep. The next one is I would really love to have is the 1952 Burke Ross Jackie Robinson.
Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Let's look for this one here. This is a PSA that just sold back in May 21st.
Yep.
This it right here?
That's the card. Yep. And so typically I'm not a huge fan of the Burke Ross cards, but I just think this is a great looking card, and it's underappreciated as far as I'm concerned. And it's an early Jackie Robinson card. So just a great image there. He's jumping for the ball, and of course, again, Jackie Robinson, such a great player and a great man. And I would love to have any cards I can get of Jackie Robinson. I would love to get, but I think that this particular card, it's an early one, and it's compared to his 52 tops, or even his 53 tops. This card is grossly underappreciated as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because look, this one here, this was a five, miscut five, but it's still only sold for $1,100 last month.
Yep.
And man, that's for a 1952 Jackie Robinson card. That's like you said, it is getting overlooked. And for me, like the image is like almost everything on a card, like the photo, the action shot or whatever. Like this is a awesome photo.
Right.
So wow.
It's really beautiful, and I bet that the population. I don't know what the population is, but I bet the population is much lower than the base tops cards as well.
Well, I had Al from Iconic Baseball on a 3-and-3 recently, and one of his cards was on his want list was a 51 Burke Ross Joe DiMaggio, and think I had seen it before, but like just actually looking at it with him, I was like, I need this card. So because I was like a little bit on the fence with Burke Ross too, because I really hadn't dove too deep into the set.
Right.
But when I saw it, I immediately was like, "Oh, that's one I want to get." Just because of the way, I don't know, the design, the way it looked, the photo was just such a cool card. So
Yep.
yeah, I'm getting on this Burke Ross train, I think here.
Yeah. I mean, some of the cards leave a lot to be desired. The just some of the images are kind of grainy, and the colors aren't the best. But there are some that are absolutely beautiful, and this one in particular, I just love it.
I think it was the mantle that kind of threw me off the set because like the mantle's like the same image from his Bowman card, but it's just
Mhm.
like washed out and just doesn't the card doesn't look as good. So I kind of always like Burke Ross, But now I'm looking at some of these cards here that there are some real gems in there, and
A-
yeah,
Absolutely.
affordable. I think we should
Absolutely.
do the shh. Let's not tell too many people about this yet. Let's get the ones we want before it gets out. Although the
Yeah,
set's been
yeah,
out there for like 80 years, so it's like, how the heck have I not seen this already?
for sure. And I think, if you're concerned about, if people who want to purchase cards as investment and things like that, this card has nowhere, the price is going nowhere but up on this card.
Totally agree. All right, let's go number three now. I'm ready.
Number three, um, fairly common, I would say. It's the 1933 Gaudi Mel Ott. Now, Mel Ott has two cards in the set, and the reason why I'm targeting this particular one, which is number 207, is because I already have the Mel Ott number 127, and so I'm really looking to purchase the 207 so I can bookend them and have them both.
All right, so the ones that have recently sold have all been SGC. So I just figured I'd pull up an SGC here. This is a three of the
Yeah.
207 that recently sold in June. Yeah, that's an
Yep.
awesome card. Wow.
Yeah, it's a beautiful card. The colors are great. I mean, the 33 Gaudi set is just a beautiful set. Anyway, I don't know if there's a bad looking card in the set, but I love the colors. Just cool image there with the skinny little bat choked up and looking like he's ready to go. And like I said, that's the number 207 in the set. I do have the 127 as well.
This one right here.
I love that card. Yeah, that's it
That
right
is a
there.
cool card. Wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Just typically, portrait cards like where they just show the head and shoulders. I'm not usually um, generally attracted to, but just the color on that and just seeing, Mel Ott, one of the greatest players, just kind of looking so intense like that. It's just a really great card, and I'm really happy I picked this up last fall, and very happy with the card. And then I noticed that there was the 207 that's just as beautiful. So, like I said, I'm looking to definitely maybe even at the national pick up that other one so I can kind of bookend them and have both of them from the set.
And then you got to make a video with showing them next to each other.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for
I like to
sure.
do that with my cards. Like I'm like a little kid playing with my like action figures, but they're cards now. I'm just like putting them together, putting them like, like organizing them. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. I actually just bought one of those display cases, that hold like, and so I'm gonna start setting up different themes and stuff like that, like in the display case.
Same here. Yeah, my next step is I really got to step up my display game. Every time I feel I'm just embarrassed. Every time I do a video with like Dylan Double D Vintage, and he's got this like the best card room ever, and I'm in like a garage with like nothing on the wall. So it's like I'm like, man, I'm dropping the ball here with the display game.
I'm the same way. I'm terrible at. I just am not. Some people are just really creative at being able to, you know, display things and frame things and display things. But I've got so much. I've got a ton of really awesome stuff that would just look great displayed, and I don't have the knack for doing it whatsoever. And it's just a lot of this stuff just sits, and I don't really get to display it. So that's something that I really need to pick my game up with as well.
And you just mentioned you're going to the national.
Oh yeah, yep.
You go every year?
This will be my 4th year.
Okay. This will be my first one. So, man, I was watching a live this morning. I caught it. It was last night though, of a bunch of guys that were talking about the national, and I was pumped up anyway. But then after watching that one, it was like Theo hosted it from Clemente Collector. I was just, like even more fired up to get to the national, man. I'm really
the first time you're gonna love it. Once you go, you're gonna want to go every year.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome, and there's so many cards and there's so much to see, and that's all great. But you're gonna see so many people that that you've never met, but through social media, YouTube, and whatever. Half the fun of the national is just meeting those people in person and hanging out and talking and going out after for dinner or a couple drinks, or the YouTube meetup is on Thursday and Friday night, and that doing all that stuff is just as much fun as seeing all the awesome cards and all the awesome stuff that they have at the national.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, for sure.
Before we go though, I wanted to see if you could recommend or mention a couple channels that are also either they're Boston sports fans. I know of a few, but if you know any that you could throw out here, I would love to hear, because I'd like to get maybe at some point I want to do like an episode on my channel or someone's channel where it's all Boston sports guys that collect Boston players or New England players, and we just all that's kind of the theme. So maybe throw out a couple if you have any off the top of your head.
Yeah, sure. I know you already know Dom Staven Sports Cards. He's a big Boston fan. But
yep.
Are you familiar with the Card Closet on YouTube? The Card Closet?
No.
Okay, so his name is Eric, and the Card Closet, and he is a big Red Sox fan. I think he's doing the Red Sox team sets, and he's got them. I don't know. He's got a lot of them completed all the way back, even pre-war. So he's got a crazy awesome Red Sox collection, and he's a big Red Sox fan.
Okay.
Not any other New England sports, ironically, but he is a Red Sox fan, and then he's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So I don't know how that worked out, but it did. But he's a really nice guy, and he's got a great Red Sox collection, and there is a good friend of mine. He doesn't do YouTube videos, but he is on YouTube. He watches a lot of videos and comments, and he was on Hobby Palooza with John Keating over the past weekend, and his name is Mark Hoyle.
Oh yeah, I watched that one. Yep.
Yeah, and
he's got a awesome collection.
He has got he is such a huge Red Sox fan, and I mean, he has everything. I've never found anything that he doesn't have that's Red Sox related, or not much, put it that way. And he is so knowledgeable too. Every time I have a question about something, I ask him about it, and he knows about it. And yeah, he would be awesome to have on, because like I said, he is so knowledgeable too. He knows even not just about Red Sox, he knows about different sets from different years and stuff like that. So yeah, he would be another one that would come to mind. And that would those two particularly I would recommend.
Perfect. Love it. Thank you, Jim. Well, guys, that's going to do it here for episode 30. Jim, thank you again for joining me. And guys, if you happen to not already follow or subscribe Jim's channel, Picker Jim S, sports card collector, do it. Why not? He's got an awesome collection. He's a great guy. He's a YouTube sports card Hall of Famer. And if you go to his channel, you'll see why. So, Jim, thanks again. Look forward to meeting you here. Let's see, next month. It's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up 4 weeks, 5 weeks. And thank you very much for the kind words, Adam. I really appreciate it. It's a great series you do here. I really enjoy watching the different collectors, and I've been psyched to come on. So thank you for having me. And it's been awesome, man. I appreciate it, and can't wait to meet you at the National.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Well, that's it. See you next time.